Hey, everybody. Welcome to another My Music. I hope you're well, whatever it is that you're doing. Stop doing it now because it's time to sit and listen to me talking to Naomi. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
Good,
Grateful for the sunshine today.
good. We've got a million stories to tell you all this afternoon from Naomi's past and her present. You won't hear them unless you come back after this video from Analog Trash. So stay tuned.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Well, very, very pleasant it is to have you on the show today, Naomi.
Oh, thank you for
so
having
much,
me.
so much for joining me. For anybody that hasn't actually caught up with Naomi on her social media or Instagram, there she is. Look at her in all of her glory. Naomi Johnson, artist. I love that. You're getting it right out there.
Yeah.
Artist. Why artist, not musician, not singer-songwriter? You chose an artist. That's an important definition to make right at the start.
I think because it is the word that feels most appropriate to encompass everything that I do into my music, which is what I would call my art. You know, it's like the songwriting, the production, the arrangement, the vocals, the image, everything. To me, it's like, well, that's an art in itself. So I want to drill that home that I'm an artist, not just a singer, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then it mentions your new single, which is the best thing to do always on your social media.
Yep.
Being a social media expert, one can tell you that is a really good thing to do because that keeps people looking at the thing which is the most contemporaneous in your life at the moment. And then, and we'll circle back around to that because that's the important thing. We need people to go and make sure that they put that in every single playlist that they possibly got on Spotify.
Yes, please.
And then the next thing, it says The Voice Finalist. So let's start there. Tell us about that.
So I did The Voice now about 2 years ago. And it was the series that was just after COVID. So everything was sort of filmed live, but not aired live because they were still figuring out how to air it in like a safe way that doesn't make you look like you're going against any rules, all those kind of things. And we were kind of like the first series to like pilot live post COVID. So it's kind of testing the waters with filming and social distancing and stuff like that. So it was all like filmed and I had to keep it all to myself, apart from telling my immediate family and immediate friends. And I ended up doing really well, and I had to just keep my mouth shut and know that it was this really cool thing that was coming out, but I couldn't tell anyone. I had to sign these NDAs and stuff. But I got all the way to the final, which was really cool. The whole process took about a year or so to actually get there from the very beginning to the end.
They approached how long that takes, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, on TV it's over in like 4 weeks. Bang. You know, 4 shows. So they do a lot of, you know, pre-show stuff. So a lot of it's like they reached out to me on Instagram actually and said, would I be interested in the show? And I was like, yeah, why not? Like, I'll just give it a go. I'm quite a yes person with music and singing. I just want to get stuck in. And I was like, I'm just gonna give it a go, see how I get on. And then it ended up that they liked my voice over Zoom. Then I had a few more auditions on Zoom, and I was like, well, this is all a bit weird because you haven't met me yet. And
love it.
You know, it's all like, you know, all over a screen, and I was quite nervous because it's, you know, it's much easier in person to get a vibe of, you know, someone's voice, especially a singing voice. And anyways, they did a few of those. I got through them all, and then they invited me for the blind audition, which is the chair spinny one. And I was absolutely petrified, and I actually just had COVID about 2 weeks before I went in. So I was rough and had my inhaler, and because I'm asthmatic as well, and just had to push through. I did about I would say 95% of the audition, I hadn't had a turn. And I was like, well, at least I got all the way here, you know, whatever. I did my best. And then I shut my eyes, sang my last note, and then, well, I am just press this button, and I was like, oh my god, I've done it. And then suddenly I was like, oh, now I've got to think about what's next. It's not all over. Now the pressure's on because it's the next show. But yeah, amazing. It's like, just
how much are you allowed to talk about that process at all that happens after you get picked by one of the mentors?
I think so. I think so.
Okay, cool.
Well,
because okay, well, we're doing it anyway. So what actually happened? Because I bet, and that's the bit that everybody really wants to know, right? Because the next thing we see is you're probably in a room with whoever around the piano or whatever, with whoever their advisor is, or whatever experts they've got in. You're singing a song, and you're getting a few tips. Oh, do it a bit more like this, do it a bit more, you know, give it a bit more emotional, put it more emotional, or whatever into it. And then the next thing, you're on stage and you're battling it out and all of that sort of thing. But what actually happens in that process? I mean, that's obviously not a 5-minute thing. Is there a lot of work that goes on there at that point?
Yes, it's a lot of filming. It's a lot of waiting around to get like the perfect lighting, the perfect, you know, accents in your voice, you know, the amount of excitement that you're portraying, the
can you do it again,
reaction.
please? Go on, Naomi, can you just do it again, please? This time,
but you know,
a bit more left.
But I understand, and before I didn't understand. I didn't know, you know. I was a viewer, and I was like, well, this must happen so quickly, and like I don't know anything about TV, and until I got there, I was like, oh, this is how it goes. And it was just, I mean, a lot of it was genuine. It was just having to redo and safety takes, and then just like bits that I would be finally happy with, and then they'd be like, actually, let's do it like this. I'm like, okay, cool. And then because I'd already in my head got the one I was, you know, I was happy with, and I was struggling to get it as good again. And it's just a bit of a cycle like that. But you do get used to it. And the one thing I will say is all the shows, the performances, all of that is live. You don't get to, you don't do it again. You do it. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. And that's part of TV. And I think that is one thing I would say is I respect about it. As much as it's hard on the artist, it's real. It's more so like the backstage stuff is they, you know, they've got to make good TV. They've got to make it like, you know, they want to pull people's heartstrings, because that's what people are invested in. And you know, I would try to be as real as possible. And when I was genuinely emotional, that was real. So, you know, it's a big thing.
Trust me, folks, that really was real. When I was
real.
When I was crying,
it was a big thing. Yeah, and you know, it was a big process for me. So the emotions went. I didn't have to fake that.
You didn't have to fake it.
No. But I did love it.
How media savvy did you become over that period? Did you find yourself growing up in terms of what you know about the media and how to deal with the media?
Yes. Yes, they did. They give you they give you some training as well about how to sort of deal with stuff. Yeah.
You know, because sorry, I was just going to say, I talk about this all of the time, right? And people just don't realize, right? You get young musicians come out, and they come out into the world of social media, and if you're lucky, you get TV exposure and whatever else. And you're going to do things like this, right? And people don't realize that one of the fundamental skills, they go off and they do Brit school or whatever else, and they learn music production, and they learn this, and they and I know you do a little bit of like, you know, be interviewed by someone, whatever. But teaching people how to be media savvy and how to be interviewed and what to do in these situations is really important. And I don't think there's enough of it.
No, I fully agree. I think that that's one thing that they were really on it with, I would say, because it you know, and they warn you about things like messages that you might get, or trolls or whatever, or media that might approach you that's good or bad. And at the time I'm like, yeah, I'll just be fine, I'll deal with it, or like there's nothing going to be bad, everybody's nice, right? I've done this cool thing. And then they were right, you do get some funny messages, you do get some people approaching you, you're like, oh, maybe this is genuine, and then you have a little look around and you're like, oh no, they were right, don't say yes to everything, don't reply to everyone, don't bite. Because I got some nasty messages, and I was thinking, oh my god, I'm not done anything wrong, and it's just trolls, but they warn you, and I think that is really good. They even said to me, worst case scenario, you might have paparazzi turn up at your door, and I was thinking, oh, that'll be fun. But they didn't, word. And and it didn't happen, but I'm sure it happens, and it's good that they talk to you about that. They're nice people.
It is.
Yeah.
You are the third person that I've had on here that's been through that show.
Who are the others? Who are they?
Well, one's just been on.
Yeah.
Roseanne has just been on. Are you still a fan? Do you watch it all the time at the moment?
I just watch bits because I've got it now. It's like different to what it used to be. So it's a lot of it's on socials now. They've got a lot of like Instagram stuff. So I've watched loads of clips, but I haven't religiously followed the show.
So this is Roseanne. You might have recognised her from the recent. Yeah, so she has been on recently. Well done to her. And I'm going to bring up the next one as well. Speak amongst yourselves whilst doing this. or ask your own questions, whatever you fancy doing. And this is someone else that's been on in the past. Let's see if we can get something of hers up.
I'd be interested to know if I know them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do you recognise this person here?
What's the name?
It's Beth McCarthy.
I know the name.
Yeah.
I know the name. Yeah.
So she was on The Voice quite a long time ago. There you go.
That's cool.
And it's a really good. It is a really good kick off for your career, isn't it? And certainly in terms of your social media and everything else like that. It suddenly, I mean, what sort of jump did you see on your social media?
I definitely got a few more thousand followers,
cool.
Which was epic for me because I was really building that, and it's a slow DIY process, Do
you know what I think we should do? I think we should actually get a group of you together. We should actually form a group of ex-Voice people all together.
I've got quite a few. A lot of the contestants from my year, we all keep in touch. So I could chat to them about that. That could be nice.
Yeah,
that would be good.
We've also had a young lady on here who was in Starstruck. Now, did you see that? Did you see that show?
I've seen bits of it. I had a friend in that one as well.
Oh yeah, and who were they?
That was Dwayne Hayden, the guy who's just done a track with me. He was on Starstruck.
What did he do? Who did he do?
He was Usher.
Oh really?
Amazing. Yeah.
That is
truly amazing.
I mean, that's a really difficult vocal to do.
It's impressive. It's impressive.
That is
with the dance moves as well.
Well, we had an Adele on here. Now, that's another thing that you've done in your career.
Yes.
You've been Adele. How does it feel to be Adele?
Oh, I love it. I really love it. It's nice to get to do songs that are like big ballads, and like at heart I feel things very deeply when I sing, and I when I step into that kind of character, the songs feel so real to me that I get so lost in it when I'm performing. And I often cry on stage, and it just happens. It's just these songs are just so incredible with her writing. And not only that, the people that enjoy her music are so invested in it that you see this like real genuine reaction from people. And obviously I'm not her, but it's the closest thing that a lot of people probably can afford to go and see. And if you see the effect it has on people, and it's a real, like, I don't know, it's very, very rewarding. Do you
find that whole thing quite interesting? I mean, well, you're not old enough to remember this, right? But when I was young, right, the whole idea of a sort of and it would be a real novelty act, as it were. Someone that pretended to be someone else would be a real kind of novelty act, and it would quite often that would be sort of like a cheap act down a working men's club, you know.
Yeah.
But now, like the amount of money that some of these stars, fair enough, you know, are asking for people to go and see them live is so much that, as you say, it's become, you know, it's almost unattainable for a lot of people. And actually, you know, with the way that the tickets go, like, you know, as soon as they go up, it's like they're gone.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually a struggle to get tickets to some of these people.
For sure.
That actually, it's opened up this opportunity for anyone that does somebody live really well to actually carve a reasonable living out of being somebody else.
Yeah, it's a bit of a blessing for people like me. Yeah. It
is strange. When I was in the band back in the 90s, our guitarist was also in an ABBA tribute band.
Oh right, yeah.
Right, which, and I love ABBA. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure you must.
I love ABBA.
ABBA,
You can't knock their songs.
But when you hear ABBA 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or people practicing ABBA songs that often, it can get a little bit. It's probably the same with any music. It can get a little bit wearing or whatever. But it was funny because, you know, we'd go out and we'd do a gig.
Yeah.
And we'd all, you know, we'd get like £100 for the night or whatever, as a young signed band. And then he'd go and play a gig at the weekend and would, you know, they'd get a couple of thousand. It's like, unreal, you know.
Yeah, there's a massive market for it, especially like you say nowadays, because it's so expensive to actually see the people you listen to. It's too expensive. I can't afford to go, you know. Like if the boot was on the other foot, I'd be going, oh, who can I go and see? Like I can't afford to see so and so, so I'm going to this. And you get the full experience, and I think that's like it works nicely both ways, I think, for the listener and for people like myself.
Now, outside of being Adele, having been on TV, The Voice or whatever, and before we even talk about your solo music efforts, you're in a band as well. You're in a group as well.
Yes, I mean a couple of different things, but yes, I'm in a. What band are you specifically talking about?
I'm going to show you because I look at this.
I do too many projects for myself to keep up.
You really do. You really do. So you're in this one for everyone that wants to know.
Yeah.
Cut Capers, yeah. And you're in another one as well, are you?
I do function band stuff. So I play in weddings, I play all round, like doing corporate things. So that's I've been doing that for years now, about 8-9 years, something like that. Yeah, but Cut Capers is quite new for me, which I love. I love it. And
you're in the West Country as well, which is great because quite often when we have people on this show, I'm based in the West Country, and you know a lot of musicians never come to the West Country. How have you found that navigating as a musician? That it's quite obvious that so many musicians concentrate on sort of London or the North or whatever, and but actually the Southwest sometimes gets a bit of a rough ride. But do you find that let's promote it because we want more musicians to come down this way, really?
Yeah, I think it's really good for like I think within Bristol, everybody in Bristol gets it, and it's like a nice community, and there's a lot of musicians here. But I think it's working on bridging the gap between places like London and here. It's like quite often we are traveling that way, or to be honest, I do quite a lot up north as well. I get quite a lot of like Birmingham and up. I've actually done a few shows in Scotland this year, and it's just like you do realize I've come from Bristol. I've got to go all this way from Bristol to Aberdeen. But yeah, I think it's getting there. It's not quite as busy and big as London, but it's definitely growing from the small little Bristol. It's like a mini London, I guess.
Yeah. And for
The
me, I
venues
think
are
it needs
epic.
to, yeah, and for me, I think it needs to come down a little bit further south as well. I'd
Yeah.
love to see Exeter maybe get another venue that's
Yeah.
a little bit bigger, because it's a great city. It does have a couple of
It
venues,
is.
and not decrying that those venues aren't great, but I just think as a stopping place between it maybe if Exeter had another venue, etc., or some arts money put into it, then maybe what we'd see is people come down, do Bristol, do Exeter,
For sure.
and then go to Plymouth and whatever, and actually the
Yeah.
southwest would get more.
Yeah,
So,
I hear that. Yeah, I mean, Exeter has a couple of cool ones. I think I've done. It is. I'm gonna get this wrong. Where is the Cavern?
the Cavern's right in the middle.
It is.
Cavern's right near Boston Tea Party. Other
Yes.
tea stroke coffee shops are available, but that one's rather nice. And,
Yes, I
and
did that
actually,
years ago. Did the Cavern?
in that same little courtyard, there's also now, which is becoming quite popular, the Phoenix, which is kind of part of, is tacked onto the museum, and it's like an art centre as well. It's more of a sit down gig than
Yeah.
you know, everybody get up and boogie. I just think it perhaps needs it needs a purpose built thing, which we've seen up north. We've seen some money going in to do some buildings, like because we were gigging when back in the day up in the northeast, and we were based in Sunderland, and like Sunderland's now got the fire station, which is a purpose built gig venue. I just think we need some of that down south, folks.
Yeah,
please.
I agree. We're trying to get some gigs in Bath as well. There's like the Forum, isn't there? Is it Bath Forum? Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the Adele show there, because I think that would be cool. And then like Bath Abbey, because we do a lot of cathedral shows, so we're trying to like get into that way. So if you're listening,
Exeter Cathedral.
Yeah, we've also we've had inquiries about that, so I'm hoping to get that one locked in. Because actually, I actually have been lucky enough to with the Adele show, I've been lucky enough to work with somebody who's really open-minded. My agent Steve, he's very like he's really into like my artistry as outside of the Adele stuff, and he has allowed me to slowly worm one of my songs into the set. So when we do these big shows, the Adele shows, I'm managing to get one of my singles in the set list, so it's kind of able to reach audiences that I wouldn't necessarily organically reach myself. So the more shows that I can do locally with that, the better for me, because hopefully it just helps it all tie into back to me.
I've just become blissfully aware, by the way, that in the middle of that, the dog left the studio here, because I have a little dog down here, opened the door, and in opening the door, well, actually, no, they didn't. The postman came in. The postman actually came in the house. That's a bit naughty. Came in the door and opened the kitchen door. But there you go.
Oh well.
Hope they haven't taken anything. But there we go. That's just how it happens in the southwest. In the southwest, people just help themselves into people's houses. He's probably had a cup of tea before he's gone. Now, tell me about your solo work. I mean, when did you actually first start writing?
To be honest, serious writing, I would say, is probably about 2019, really? 2020.
Well, that's a mistake, isn't it? You should have started earlier than that.
Well, are you playing? Is it a play on words that my single is called Mistake by any chance?
Oh, I don't know. I just thought we'd now try and see how many times we can use the word mistake in the rest of the
interview. Well, one of my biggest mistakes was not writing early enough.
Yes.
Another mistake I made was telling you that on air. I'm just trying to worm it in.
Yeah, I think that's a great mistake to make. What is the biggest mistake you think that you've ever made in your life?
Oh my goodness, that is a very deep question.
It is.
Oh my gosh, biggest mistake I've made.
A mistake, not a regret, because regrets are different.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think, I mean, without sounding too, what's the word? I don't know. I don't want to pile everything on the song, but there is a lot in that that's probably actually answers that question.
It's cathartic, is it? Is this song
Yeah.
quite cathartic for you? Yeah.
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 Yeah. But like you say, mistakes, not regrets. Mistakes, things that you can learn from.
Yeah.
And
are you quite like that as a person? Are you quite an optimist naturally?
Yeah.
Like you?
Yeah. I never used to be. I never used to be.
Right.
I used to feel quite I used to feel like things that went wrong in the world or things that went wrong around me was kind of happening to me, and you know, a bit like a woe is me, like I'm trying really hard and
I don't deserve this. I
why am
don't
I being
deserve this.
yeah, I'm being a victim of the world, like it's, you know, this and this is happening, why me? And it's only been the past few years where I've kind of had a bit of a shift in my my state of mind, I guess, and sort of realized that actually when you realize that nothing is happening to you, it's just happening, you realize the weight is no longer on your shoulders. You just have to accept that things happen and you make of it what you make of it. It's not written for you.
Yeah.
Which sounds really airy fairy and stuff like that, but it's just, I don't know, it's not it wasn't like a sudden epiphany, but I just suddenly realized I wasn't caring about things in such a deep way that didn't need to be a weight on my shoulders anymore. And actually I can just get what I need to say out in writing. I can do the best I can and be a good person with the people I can, and things that I can't change, well, I have to let that go. And nowadays I think I'm much freer as a person because I think I let things pass, I let things go. And
I love that.
yeah, it never used to be like that. Yeah.
See, growth. That's growth. That's real growth.
It is
there.
growth. It is. Yeah.
As Paul would say on maths, that's growth.
It's growth. It's growth.
Yeah. Are you a maths fan or not? Do you watch?
I watched a lot of it, like about 6-7 months ago. Someone talked to me about it, and I was like, oh, I'll have a little look on catch up, and I was watching it, and I got really invested, really invested. And then I realized I need to calm down. I've watched too much of this, and I'm taking on their mannerisms. I'm taking in the way they give people feedback, and I was like, whoa.
The thing
so
is,
I might pick it up again.
That sort of TV is just too easy, right? It's just too easy
to
like sit in the evening. It's just like, and then the next one, especially with the way TV works now, right? Like you just end up binge watching and you just flick through to the next one. It's like, oh,
you don't have to get up.
No, we're invested in that. The one bit that really annoys me though is trying to find the right point where they start the next bit properly. Do you know what I'm saying there? So like when you're watching any of those series, because they always do towards the end of the previous one, they always do sort of like the best bits of the next one, or the bits that you'll want to watch in the next one, right? And then when the next one starts, they basically redo that again because it's kind of like coming up in this episode. But you've just seen that because you've just been sitting there. So you've now got to get the remote and try and find where the actual program starts, because you don't really want to watch that 5 minutes. Yeah.
But they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I know. But what we need is AI to just kind of come in and
cut that
and
out.
do that for us and go, do you know what? I know what you really want here. And it just go, there we go.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
Skip to the good bit. Yeah.
Exactly that's exactly what we want to achieve there.
Yeah.
So this single, who produced this single with you? Did you
the producer is Joffy James. I will I'd say assist producer with myself. I was there for quite a lot of it, but the main credit is Joffy James, which is one of my really good friends from Bristol.
That's fantastic. And how's it going? How are the figures going on the single?
It's actually going really well. I think it's probably the one that's grown the quickest in the amount of time it's been out, comparing to my other singles that I've had out. So it's my 4th single now.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Are you
it's
heading
really good.
towards an album? Are you heading towards a whole album?
Yes. So essentially right now I've got 4 solo songs out. I've got 2 collaboration songs out. So I've got one with Cut Capers and one with my friend Sam Greenland. So I think when I've maybe released maybe 2 or 3 more songs, I think I'm going to stagger them out still, because I think I'm finding that singles these days, the response to a single is just so good as opposed to a full body of work. So I'm hoping to just keep building traction with individual songs for maybe 2 or 3 more, and then once everybody's kind of heard them all, I'll put it out on an album, and maybe have a couple of little B-sides on there, maybe some acoustic versions, stuff like that. Because there are still people who, I know myself, when an album comes out, I sit and listen to the whole album in order. I enjoy the whole thing, but I know that generally singles are received better for the attention span we have these days. So
yeah, no, absolutely,
it goes like that. But I love an album, and I've always wanted to have an album that, you know, that, like, knowing myself growing up, that I was looking forward to albums coming out. I look forward to my favorite artists releasing their next big chunk of work. So that will hopefully be on the cards towards the end of the year next year.
And you, in terms of the overall feel of the album, is it going to sort of be sort of like the slightly dancey, sort of neo soul-y type thing? Yeah,
right up my street. I think, like, the way, especially with Mistake that's just come out, I think that's probably the most,
you,
I don't know, the most me. Yeah, the most like accurate representation of everything that the influences I've got, and the writing and everything. It's like the most grown up sound I've had.
Cool.
Yeah.
I want to know, has Will.i.am heard it yet?
I hope so. I don't know. We follow each
other.
We follow each other on Instagram, and I sent it to him. And Will, if you're listening,
yeah. Oh, look, I'm going to tag him in now to the interview. Will, come on.
And this is Will.i.am. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think so. But I know he's a very busy man. I know he's got a lot on his plate, and he's filming the show at the moment because The Voice is back on. So who knows? Maybe, hopefully.
Who knows?
Every time I put music out,
deep down inside, you're thinking, I know he's listening to it. He's got it there. He's on his special Will.i.am watch with his own. It's on his. You want it? What you want it? It's on his music service and stuff.
Yes. It's probably his ringtone. You know, it's probably his alarm.
Probably is. It's probably
probably his ring doorbell. You know.
I love that. Absolutely
Imagine.
Love that.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Gigs for next year? Are you lining up gigs for next year as well? Other than the Adele gigs, solo gigs for you?
Yeah, so that's the plan. So I'm about to get into the rehearsal space with some of my musician friends. I'm gonna, everything that I've made in the studio with Joffy, we're gonna take to the people that are going to be playing it live with me. So the stage we're at now is basically the pre-prod for live shows. So we are gonna get in the studio, make them sound more live, because at the moment they're much like a radio edit version of the songs, and it's all made in the studio, so there's no like human liveness of a guitar or whatever. So that's happening in the next month or so, and the idea is that we finish the set and then I just get out and play it everywhere. I need to book some shows, but I haven't. That's the plan.
Okay. Well, if any promoters are listening, you know who to call. All right.
Yes, please. Please call.
Naomi would like to hear from you so she can get around the country. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Quickly, half an hour's just gone like that. Vroom.
Crazy.
I know. It is absolutely mad. We look forward to seeing your career blossom as you go forward, etc. I'm looking forward to the people that have been on The Voice in the past party at some point. I think that would be great. That would make a festival in itself, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be brilliant?
It would.
These great singers.
But the talent in there. Yeah.
Why's no one had that idea?
We've only done it. We meet up and we have a sing, but it's us. You know, that's only in private. So I'm sure someone somewhere would want to have us sing for them.
I think you should open that up to a New Year's Eve special or something.
That could be good.
A New Year's Eve party, ex-Voice contestants, that people can come along and hear you all sing.
People would buy tickets, wouldn't they?
People
Good
would
idea.
buy tickets for that. Any promoters out there ready for that one? Let us know.
Hit me up.
Folks, this has been the wonderful Naomi. Do go and make sure that you download or stream and add to playlists. Mistake. It's not a mistake to do that, but it would be a mistake not to do that, if you know what I mean. We're just making sure that the algorithm knows that we've mentioned mistake enough times.
Mistake.
How
many times can you get it in?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. If you've enjoyed this, please do go and share with your friends and family and everybody else. If not, we've wasted 35 minutes of your time, and I'm very, very sorry about that. But don't worry, you can get it back. Remember, if you just scrawl your name on the back of a blank CD and go and put it in a post box in Waring in Essex, which may or may not exist, then you can send it to the Outer Hebrides and get your 35 minutes back. I've been told. That could be a lie. I don't know. Until next time, bye for now.